All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all glory and praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakha Kodash, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, honors and salutations to the hopeful elect, pushing his word in truth and sincerity. All right, this is the brother Tawab Rakha from GMS Los Angeles / Inland Empire, coming back with another video on the spirit. And once again, Tawada Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, for opening my eyes to this truth. Allow me to wake up another day and put the spirit on me to do another lesson in hopes that I find a hopeful elect. Okay, so in this video, it's going to be real quick, just an exhortation, for brothers as well as you few sisters out there to always remain thankful and grateful for this truth, man. Because the majority of our people, they're lost, man. Okay, the majority of our people, as the scriptures say, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. And that's on all levels, man. Through this truth, we're able to, move in this world, having this understanding, this wisdom. We're able to navigate through all these snares out here. Okay. And snares mean, the word snares this is another word of saying traps. Okay. You got Esau, this devil. Okay. He has all these different traps out here, whether it's through the food, through the information out here, this misinformation he puts out there. And a lot of our people, they get caught up into that, or the media, the movies, the music, okay, the media, all right, so on and so forth. A lot of our people get caught up into these things. They don't have that spiritual eye. They don't have that discernment. But us that's in this truth, the Lord has given us that spirit of discernment. The Lord has given us that wisdom. He's given us that heart. And when I say heart, I'm referring to the mind. Okay, he's given us he's given us this mind set, and how to judge things, man. Judge things properly. Okay. Just to give an example, dealing with the herbs, before a lot of us woke up to this truth, a lot of us didn't have the knowledge, of, different herbs, how to, treat certain ailments, okay, or sicknesses, okay. A lot of us didn't have that, information at our disposal, man. Now that we've been woken up to this truth, and in the day and age that we're woken up to this truth, with this with the internet, there's so much things that we can look up and within a matter of seconds, where it used to take people years to find out, it's taking us in matters of seconds, man. And then on top of that, being in this truth, man, being taught by apostles and elders, the leadership that we have, this is a truly privileged position, man. We got to be thankful for these things because, like I said, we can easily be out there in the same predicament as the majority of our people, man. Okay. So, like I said, man, we always got to be grateful and thankful for this thing, man. So with all that being said, Salakia, I don't want to ramble on any further. I'm going to get right into it. And like I said, Lord willing, I pray this be edifying to you sincere brothers as well as you few sisters. So the first scripture I'm going to start with is Baruch in the Apocrypha, Baruch chapter 4, verse 4. It says, O Israel, happy are we, for things that are pleasing to the Most High are made known unto us. You know, right now, Israel, you know, right now, referring to the elect, you know, because 2/3 of our people, they're heathens. Okay, they're in a heathenistic mindset. Okay, they out here keeping these so-called holidays. Okay, they out here eating all these abominations. Okay, they worshiping these idols. Okay, they putting marks upon their body, you know, with your tattoos. Okay, they out here committing adultery. Okay, they're out here murdering one another. Okay, defrauding one another, robbing from one another. Okay, they're doing all sorts of evil to one another. Okay, and like I quoted, you know, Hosea, our people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because you know, when our people are destitute of the word of the Lord, and they're destitute of this knowledge, that's what they are. They're destitute, you know, because this is life. Okay, this is life. This book, this Bible is life. It brings life unto us. Okay, when you walk in these commandments, you know, when you start living by the word of the Lord, you'll start to see the good in it. You'll start to see the benefits of you know, actually doing what the scriptures say to do. You start to see the benefits. You start to see how things in your life starts to change for the better. Okay, on all levels, you know, your mental, your health, everything, man. You know, that's why this is very, very important to, you know, to be locked into this word, man. It's imperative to really be tapped in with the spirit, you know, because this is our power source, man. You know, I'm gonna read it again. This is back in Baruch chapter 4. Matter of fact, let me start at the first verse. Baruch 4:1. It says, "This is the book of the commandments of the Most High, and the law that endureth forever. All they that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die." You see that? Because what is the wages of sin? The wages of sin are death. Okay? And a lot of our people, you know, that don't keep the commandments, okay, they out here living after the flesh. Eventually what happens? A lot of them die. You know, Jake that's given over to that you know, these abominable foods. What happens eventually? Jake has all sorts of health problems. You know, Jake got high blood pressure. Jake got diabetes. Okay, Jake got to get their limbs amputated. Okay, Jake's be having heart attacks, strokes. You know, they have all sorts of problems. Okay, and that's the results of not living after the laws of the Lord, man. When you live like these heathens out here, you know, you're gonna get death. Okay, and this is why, you know, we out there. You know, this is one of the reasons, you know, that we go out there on the highways and byways to warn you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans to turn from your ways, man. Turn, you know, from all this wickedness out here, man. Okay, stop eating all that. Stop eating the swine. You know, stop eating the shrimp, the crab, the lobster, the bottom feeders of the ocean. Okay, we're not supposed to eat. We can't just eat any fucking thing we want to eat, man. You know, the Lord gave us a dietary law for a reason. Okay, and that's why a lot of you are sick. That's why a lot of you are you know, you go to the grave early. Okay, and, you know, these sicknesses aren't what they call it. You inherit, from your great grandparents, your grandparents, your parents. No, that what you inherit is bad habits, man. Bad eating habits. And a atrocious diet. Okay, and when you start eating a clean diet, slowly but surely you'll start to see the good in it, man. You start to feel better. Okay, you're able to process your thoughts better. Okay, which means what? You'll be able to make better decisions. Okay, you won't make hasty decisions. Okay, you won't panic so easily. That's why that plays into why a lot of our people, they're so damn impulsive, man. Because the shit that's in the food, okay, all this shit that's in the air, ultimately, like I said, first and foremost, it goes back to not having this truth, man. Okay, because the Lord blocked 2/3 of our people from this understanding, but we still have to tell you, so your blood is not upon our hands when the Lord return, man. All right, now let me get back in Baruch 4:2. It says, "Turn thee, O Jacob, and take hold of it. Walk in the presence of the light thereof, that thou mayest be illuminated." You see, and the light is this Bible, this truth. Okay, so this is the greatest possession a man can have, man. Knowing what we know, especially in this day and age that we're in right now, this time frame that we're in right now, to know what we know is a very privileged position, man. This is not something to be taken for granted. Okay, because man, it's so many Israelites out here that don't know what the hell is going on, man. Jake don't know why they sick. Jake don't know how to deal with their sickness. Jake don't know how to they don't know what herbs, they don't know what diet, the practice in order for them to reverse certain diseases that they have. But us that's in this truth, start with our apostles L's on down, we have all this info at our fingertips, and having the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai upon us, to be able to filter these things out, drinking certain teas, for this problem, that problem, and then, brothers that have been doing that for a while, brothers start to see results, man. Brothers start to feel better. Okay, is this and it all starts with this word, this truth. The renewing of our minds. Okay, and then you change. You get to a point when you change your diet, it becomes second nature. Because I ain't gonna front in the world. The junk food. Jake used to Jake used to tear up that junk food, man. Jake used to go to the hamburger stands and taco stands, all that shit. But then once you come into the truth, you change up your whole routine. You start to see the benefits, and you don't miss the old shit, man. You don't miss the old ways, man. You actually feel better than you ever felt in your entire life. And that's what this truth does, man. So this ain't something to be taken for granted, man. This is something to be very, very thankful and grateful to have, man, because like I said, man, a lot of our people are done out here. They're through. Jake is through out here, man. All right. It says, third verse, give not thine honor to another, nor the things that are profitable unto thee to a strange nation. O Israel, happy are we, for things that are pleasing to the Most High are made known unto us. You see that? So the things that are pleasing to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai is made known unto us, which that's going to benefit us. You know, when we do things to please the Lord rewards us accordingly. The Lord, what does the scripture say? Lord is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. So when you constantly seek after the Lord, you constantly seek after pleasing the Lord. Okay, the Lord is going to reward you for your works, man. Okay, Lord, he imparts a greater understanding upon you. Okay, the Lord will start opening your mind to get into certain things, you know, to benefit you in the flesh, you know, in righteousness, man. You know, because the Lord, you know, ain't nothing wrong with pleasure. You know, pleasure is a beautiful thing, you know, but it's a balance, you know. The Lord is not going to give us something where, you know, it's going to make us totally complacent, you know, too comfortable here. The Lord, he's going to give us just enough to, you know, where we can bear, you know. But he's not going to give us too much. He ain't going to give us too much pleasure. He's not going to give us too much hell either. You know, it's a balance. You know, but the point is, you know, us having this knowledge and knowing how to please the Lord, you know, that's a good thing to have, especially in this time that we're in right now. All right, got another one. This is Psalms chapter 119, verse 104. It says, "Through thy precepts I get understanding, therefore I hate every false way. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path." You see that? So through this word, okay, this is how we navigate in this society. Okay, we apply this what the scriptures say. Okay, the instructions that are written in this Bible, we actually obey. You know, when we get into certain situations, you know, and we apply what the scriptures say to do. Okay, we see you know, how basically when we do those things, we avoid a lot of these traps that's out here laid for us, man. Because it's all sorts of snares, it's all sorts of pitfalls out here, just looking to get Jake caught up, you know. But through this word, we're able to dodge those things, you know, by applying wisdom. Okay. See, because, you know, a lot of our people, they get caught up into a lot of this bullshit out here, because a lot of our people, they, you know, they live after the flesh, you know. They're impulsive. Okay. They never think before they react. It's always, you know, they always go off their emotions. And see, what this truth teaches us, the truth teaches us how to lean upon the word of the Lord instead of leaning upon our own emotions and our own mind. Okay? Because the Lord's thoughts are above our thoughts, man. Okay? Just because something may feel right to us, you know, doesn't mean that it's a right thing in the sight of the Lord, man. You know, everything got to be done according to, you know, the will of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. Okay? And, you know, sometimes that's why you got to, you know, receive counsel. You know, you know, if you want to, you know, do something and you're not really sure on what you should do, That's what counsel is for. You know, and see, a lot of our people, they don't have that mind, that way of thinking. You know, a lot of our people, they don't want to go and get a second opinion. They don't want to get counsel because a lot of our people have this mindset, you know, I'm going to do me. They want to be, you know, it's that selfish ass mentality. You know, I'm going to do me, you know, and this is why we're in the position that we're in right now, because that rebellious ass, you know, way of thinking, man. You know, order is a must. You know, we got it. You know, that, even in this truth, you know, order. The Lord set an order up. You know, we just can't do whatever the hell we want to do, man. You know, and and you see, rebelliousness is what gets us fucked up. Okay, this is why a lot of our people are sick, in and out of the hospital, in and out of prison, okay, in the graveyard, because they lack obedience, man. They lack discipline, and they lack obedience. They mainly lack obedience, man, okay? Because Jake is just fucking hard-headed, man, you know? But anyway, let me get back. It's back in Psalms 119 and 104. It says, through thy precepts I get understanding, therefore I hate every false way. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. Right, because a lamp is a guide. You know, you use a lamp, which is a light, to you know, to be able to know where your footing is, you know, and you use that in the night. And this world is dark. We're in this dark ass world, and us having this knowledge is likened unto a light. So we're walking through all this darkness, you know, but we have that light to know our footing, you know, to know where, you know, direction that we're heading towards. Okay. So this is what this information is to us. Okay. This is how we avoid those pitfalls, those snares. Okay. Through this light. All right. I got another one. This is Romans chapter 11 verse 33. It says, oh, the depth of the riches, both of the wisdom and knowledge of the Most High, how unsearchable are his judgments and his ways past finding out. Right, because these are the true riches. Okay, this is the true riches. This is the riches, you know, that one should desire to have. Okay, this knowledge. Okay, because through this knowledge, you know, we're able to benefit in so many ways, man. You know, it's so many ways this truth, you know, can brighten you, man. You know, this truth sharpens us, you know. Like I said, man, you know, brothers, health, you know, mental, okay, you know, confidence, you know, I mean, this thing, man, this truth is beautiful, man. Sometimes you can't even put it into words, okay? But you know, that's the beauty of this thing, man. You know, and knowing that, you know, the state that we were in before we came into this, to where we are now, like, you know, sometimes you got to think about that, man. I mean, really, all the time, you really got to think about that, man. You know, think about who you were before you came into this, to the point where you are right now. You know, having this, man. Like I said, man, we always gotta be grateful for this, man. You know, every day. All right, this is Jeremiah chapter 9 verse 23. It says, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai, let not the wise man glory in his wisdom, neither let the mighty man glory in his might. Let not the rich man glory in his riches, but let him that glorieth glory in this, that he understandeth and knoweth me, that I am the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai, which exercise loving kindness judgment and righteousness in the earth, for in these things I delight, saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashmi Yahushua. You see that? So this is it, man. This is where it's at. This is, something to glory about. Glory about knowing the truth, knowing Yahweh Ba'ashmi Yahushua, man. Okay, because you got these individuals in the world. They got all these different possessions. Okay, they got all these mansions, these luxurious cars, all these women, and they glory in that. Okay, you got individuals that glory in a strength. Like these boxers, these MMA fighters, so on and so forth. Which those are mighty individuals. But what it boils down to at the end of the day, the great thing to glory in is this truth, is having this wisdom, having this knowledge and understanding, because all those individuals, whether they be rich or mighty, if they don't have this word, if they don't have this truth, they're nothing at the end of the day, because their might is not going to be able to save them in the time that's coming, and their riches aren't going to be able to save them in the time that's coming. Okay? And that's something that we all got to, remember, So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I said, I just wanted to do this real quick. Like I said, I pray this is edifying to you sincere brothers, as well as you few sisters out there. Stay strong. Keep fighting. We're almost out of here. So with that, I'm going to give all glory and praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim HaKodash, the honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, honors and salutations to the hopeful elect, pushing his word in true sincerity. Shalom.